Right, so are you ready to take a deep dive into Ethereum's PECTRA upgrade?
Always ready to dive in.
This is a big one. I mean, imagine like faster and cheaper transactions on Ethereum.
Sounds good to me.
But not only that, it's going to burn more ETH in the process.
Oh, wow. Okay, so how are they going to pull that off?
Well, we've got this article from crypto.news, and they lay it all out.
Okay.
It's called Ethereum PECTRA Upgrade, scheduled for Mainnet on April 8th.
April 8th, that's coming up quick.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot to unpack. This is a big deal for Ethereum.
Yeah, Ethereum upgrades always get everyone talking. I mean, they have the potential to really shake things up in the crypto world.
Absolutely. And that's why we're doing a deep dive. It's important to really understand what's going on and why it matters. So first off, let's talk about the launch.
Okay, yeah. When's this thing going live?
Well, they're not just launching it all at once. They're doing a phased rollout.
Oh, smart. So they can test it out and make sure everything's working smoothly before they go full scale.
Exactly. So it starts with the Holski testnet on February 24th.
Okay.
Then it moves to the Sepolia testnet on March 5th.
Gotcha.
And then finally, the full mainnet launch is on April 8th.
All right, so they're taking their time with it. That's reassuring. You know, they're not just rushing things out the door.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
They want to make sure everything's perfect. But okay, let's get into the technical stuff, like what's actually changing with this upgrade. One of the big things is this concept of blob space.
Blob space? What is that?
Yeah, it sounds kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So think of it like this.
Okay.
You're driving on a highway, and suddenly they add more lanes.
Okay.
That's basically what PECTRA does.
More lanes for data.
Yeah, so it increases the blob space from 3 to 6 blobs per block.
Blobs?
Yeah, blobs. They're chunks of data. And by increasing the blob space, you're basically widening the highway for data to travel on Ethereum.
Ah, okay. So more blob space equals faster and potentially cheaper transactions.
Exactly. Especially for things like Layer 2 solutions, which we know a lot of our viewers are interested in.
Right, because Layer 2 solutions are all about making Ethereum more scalable and efficient.
Yeah, and PECTRA gives them a huge boost. It's like giving them a turbocharger.
That's awesome.
Okay, so more efficient transactions, that's great. But PECTRA also impacts ETH burning. Remember that?
Oh yeah, ETH burning. That was introduced with the London hard fork, right?
Yeah, a while back. So burning basically takes ETH out of circulation permanently,
Okay.
making the remaining ETH more scarce. It's like a digital version of burning dollar bills. The fewer bills in circulation, the more valuable each remaining bill could become.
Right, makes sense. So with PECTRA ramping up the burning, does that mean ETH's on track to become this ultrasound money that Ethereum researcher Justin Drake's been talking about?
Well, it's definitely heading in that direction. Well, the Dengen upgrade, which also involved blob space, actually caused a slight decrease in ETH burning.
Oh, interesting.
PECTRA's doubling of the blob space limit could really ramp things back up.
Gotcha. So we've got faster, cheaper transactions, potentially more ETH burning. But the question everyone wants to know is, what about the price? Will PECTRA send ETH to the moon?
Right. The article suggests that PECTRA might have a positive effect on the price, but it's cautious. ETH has been pretty volatile lately, hovering around $2,700.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a bit counterintuitive, though, isn't it? I mean, we've got all this positive stuff happening.
Right, exactly.
Faster transactions, more burning, and on-chain metrics like the total value locked. That's been looking pretty good. Shouldn't the price be reflecting that?
You would think, right.
Yeah.
But the crypto market's complicated. There are so many factors at play, like overall market sentiment, macroeconomic trends. Even what the Fed's doing can impact crypto prices.
Oh yeah, for sure. So even with all the potential benefits of PECTRA, there's no guarantee that the price is just going to skyrocket.
No, it's a long game.
Makes sense.
Think of it like building a skyscraper. PECTRA is like laying the foundation. You might not see the full impact right away, but it's building towards something much bigger.
I like that analogy. So for everyone watching CoinTalk Podcast, don't get too caught up in the daily price fluctuations. Think long term.
Yeah. Zoom out and focus on the bigger picture.
Now, speaking of things that could boost ETH's price in the long term, the article does mention the growing interest in Ethereum ETFs.
Oh yeah, that's huge. We're talking billions of dollars flowing into ETH ETFs. It's a clear sign that big institutional investors are taking Ethereum seriously.
And that's not surprising. I mean, Ethereum's still the leading platform for DeFi and NFTs.
Right, it's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
All right, so let's break down this ETF thing a little bit, because I know it can be confusing. What exactly are these different types of ETH ETFs that we're hearing about?
Well, there are a few different types. Some track the price of ETH directly, while others focus on specific segments of the Ethereum ecosystem, like companies involved in staking.
Gotcha. And then there's that whole thing about the SEC potentially approving a staking ETH ETF, right? What are the implications of that?
Well, that could be massive. I mean, a staking ETH ETF would allow investors to earn staking rewards without having to actually stake their ETH themselves.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it could make staking much more accessible to a wider range of investors.
Right, so potentially even more demand for ETH.
Exactly.
So even though PECTRA might not be a magic solution for ETH's price, it's a definite step in the right direction.
Agreed. It's addressing some key challenges and setting the stage for future growth.
But we got to remember, Ethereum's not the only game in town.
Right. There's competition out there.
Even with PECTRA and other upgrades, Ethereum can't get complacent.
For sure. It's a fast-moving space.
What's fascinating is that this competition is driving innovation. Every platform wants to offer the best combination of scalability, security, and functionality. And that's great for everyone.
Absolutely. It's the users who benefit in the end.
So as we wrap up this first part of our deep dives, the big question is, will PECTRA be enough to keep Ethereum on top? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're enjoying this, don't forget to like and subscribe to CoinTalk Podcast on YouTube. Share it with your friends too.
Right, we'll be back with part 2 after a quick message from our sponsors. So stick around.
See you soon. Welcome back to the CoinTalk Podcast, deep dive into Ethereum's PECTRA upgrade. We were just talking about how PECTRA could impact ETH's price. I'm sure that's on everyone's mind.
For sure, yeah. Will this upgrade finally send ETH to the moon? That's the question everyone wants to know.
Right. The article suggests there's potential, but it's not making any promises.
Yeah, and it's important to remember, ETH price has been all over the place lately.
Yeah, it has.
Even with all the positive developments around PECTRA, it's still around $2,700.
Right around there, yeah.
It's a bit counterintuitive, though, isn't it? I mean,
Right.
we have all this exciting stuff happening.
Yeah.
Blob space, ETH burning, and strong on-chain metrics.
Like that total value locked, hitting a new high.
Exactly. Shouldn't the price be reflecting all that?
Well, the crypto market, it's a complex thing.
It is.
It's not always driven by logic.
You got that right.
Things like overall market sentiment, macroeconomic trends,
Right.
even what the Fed is doing can have an impact.
Yeah, for sure. So even with all of PECTRA's potential benefits, there's no guarantee of an instant price surge.
Yeah, no. It's a long game.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Think of it like building a skyscraper.
Okay.
PECTRA's laying the foundation.
Right.
You might not see the full impact immediately,
Yeah.
but it's all building towards something bigger.
Love that analogy. So for those of you tuning into CoinTalk Podcast, don't get too caught up in those day-to-day price fluctuations.
Yeah.
Zoom out, focus on the big picture.
Now, speaking of things that could boost ETH's price long-term,
Yeah.
the article talks about the growing interest in Ethereum ETFs.
Oh yeah, those ETF.
Billions of dollars are flowing into ETFs.
Yeah, big money.
Shows that big institutional investors are starting to see the potential of Ethereum.
Makes sense, right? Given how dominant Ethereum is in things like DeFi and NFTs.
Absolutely. Still the king of the hill for those.
The king.
It's not going to be dethroned easily.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so let's break down these ETFs a little bit because I know they can be kind of confusing.
Yeah.
What exactly are these different types of ETFs we're hearing about?
Sure. So there are a few different types. Some track the price of ETH directly, and then others focus on certain parts of the Ethereum ecosystem, like companies involved in staking.
Got it. And then there's that whole thing about the SEC potentially approving a staking ETH ETF.
Right. What if that happens?
What are the implications of that?
I mean, that could be huge. A staking ETH ETF would let investors gain exposure to those Ethereum staking rewards
Right.
without actually having to stake their ETH themselves.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, this could make staking a lot more accessible to a much wider range of investors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Potentially even more demand for ETH.
So while PECTRA might not be some magical fix for ETH's price, it's a definite step in the right direction.
It is. It's taking on some of those key challenges and setting things up for even more growth.
And remember, PECTRA is just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Ethereum's developers have a whole roadmap of upgrades planned for the future.
Oh yeah, they're not stopping here.
This is just the beginning,
The beginning.
which is something we always try to emphasize here on CoinTalk Podcast.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in that short-term noise.
Right.
Focus on the long game.
Long game, for sure.
Now, even with all these positive developments, we can't forget that Ethereum's not alone.
Nope. It's a competitive space.
There's competition out there, other blockchain platforms making moves.
They are.
Even with PECTRA and other upgrades, Ethereum can't afford to sit back and relax.
No, can't get complacent.
The space is dynamic,
Yeah.
and it's moving fast.
Fast.
What's really cool is that this competition is driving innovation across the board.
Yeah, it is.
Each platform is trying to offer the best mix of scalability, security, and functionality.
Absolutely.
And in the end, that's good for the users.
Definitely. It's all about the users.
So as we wrap up part 2 of this deep dive, the question is, will PECTRA be enough to maintain Ethereum's dominance in the long run?
Yeah. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.
We love hearing from you. And if you're enjoying this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe to CoinTalk Podcast on YouTube. Share it with your friends.
Spread the word.
We'll be back with part 3 after a quick message from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
And we are back for the final part of our CoinTalk Podcast deep dive into Ethereum's PECTRA upgrade.
It's been quite the journey.
We've covered so much, all the technical details, the potential impact on ETH price.
And how Ethereum stacks up against the competition.
So much good stuff.
Yeah, let's tie it all together.
Yeah, and distill some key takeaways for all of you amazing CoinTalk Podcast viewers.
Sounds good.
So first things first, let's be real clear. PECTRA, this is big for Ethereum.
It really is. This isn't just some minor tweak.
No.
Increasing blob space, this is going to supercharge data availability.
Yeah, definitely.
Leading to faster, cheaper transactions for everyone.
Across the board.
And for those of you who are really into Layer 2 solutions,
Which we know a lot of you are.
PECTRA is especially exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Layer 2s are all about making Ethereum more scalable and more efficient. And PECTRA's enhancements are like giving them a rocket booster.
It's like they're strapping rockets onto those Layer 2s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be amazing to watch.
It really is.
And then, of course, we have to talk about the impact on ETH itself.
Right.
Increased burning, that could have a seriously deflationary effect.
Right, potentially making ETH more scarce and more valuable.
Over time, yeah.
Just like taking a limited edition collectible
Right.
and making it even more limited.
Exactly. It really plays into that vision of Ethereum as ultrasound money.
That Justin Drake was talking about.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk ETH price one last time.
The elephant in the room.
The big question.
Everyone wants to know.
While the article's cautiously optimistic about PECTRA's impact, we all know how unpredictable crypto can be.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure.
No crystal ball here.
Nope. But it's definitely a positive sign that we're seeing more and more institutional interest in ETH.
Yeah, with billions of dollars pouring into those ETH ETFs.
Exactly. Big players are starting to pay attention.
And if the SEC actually approves that staking ETH ETF,
Game changer.
total game changer.
Huge. It could really drive up demand for ETH.
So, PECTRA might not be an instant rocket to the moon,
No, but it's building a solid foundation.
laying the groundwork for a stronger and more efficient Ethereum.
For sure. Building a better future for ETH, one upgrade at a time.
And we've said it before, but it's worth repeating, Ethereum isn't operating in a vacuum.
True that.
The blockchain world is a competitive space. There are a lot of players out there.
You're making moves.
Yeah, making some serious moves.
Yeah.
So even with PECTRA and all these other upgrades, Ethereum can't just sit back and relax.
No, gotta keep innovating.
It's got to keep pushing forward. This space is dynamic, it moves fast.
Lightning fast.
But you know what's really cool?
What?
All this competition,
Yeah.
it's actually driving innovation across the board.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Each platform is trying to offer the best possible mix.
Of scalability, security,
Functionality, everything. And in the end, you know who benefits?
the users.
The users. We benefit.
Exactly. More choices, better tech.
It's a win-win. So as we wrap up this epic deep dive here on CoinTalk Podcast, we want to leave you with one final thought. Ethereum, it's constantly evolving. PECTRA is just one step in its journey. What do you think the future holds for ETH? Will it stay on top, or will new contenders emerge?
What do you think? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you guys,
And of course, if you've enjoyed this deep dive,
which we hope you have.
don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to CoinTalk Podcast on YouTube so you don't miss any future episodes.
And share it with all your crypto-curious friends.
Spread the knowledge. Until next time, keep exploring this amazing world of crypto.
And remember,
Knowledge is power.